What's the creepiest thing you caught someone doing? I was in bed lounging around in my former boyfriend's house, who lived with his parents at the time, and I heard a knock. I ignored it because I was too sleepy to care. Then I heard the door open a crack. Maybe it was instinct, but I knew I was being stared at. I opened one of my eyes slightly and saw my boyfriend's dad peeking at me through the crack in the door, masturbating. We locked gazes and he scurried off, awkwardly. I never returned to that house again, and never told anyone. Once I was taking a shit in a public restroom and heard weird noises, so I looked under the stall to check the feet of the dude next to me. I'm not sure why, I just did it to be safe. Turns out the dude next to me was checking at the exact same time I was. It was so fucking awkward as we made eye contact nearly upside down by our underwear. I guess it was weird for both of us. Oh man, kind of similar story. I was in Germany with my wife. We decided to take a break from sightseeing to just have a pastry and go to the bathroom. We go to this nice restaurant in the city square, my wife orders and I run to the bathroom. The stall doors to the bathrooms were clear glass, and when you closed the door and locked it, the doors would frost over so you couldn't see into the stall but you could see out. Anyway, a guy, mid-shit, hadn't locked his stall door, just closed it. The dude literally just made bizarre faces at me while me pooped, making direct eye contact while I was at the urinal. He had no idea I could see him though. When we were about 18 years old, my friend Rich was telling me he was being followed by a strange dude with long hair, beard, and mustache. He said he would turn around and see the guy following him from a distance. At night Rich would look out his front window and see the guy standing in the middle of the road staring at his house. 2 weeks later we finished up our band practice in our lead guitarist's backyard and Rich left to put his amp in his car. A few moments later Rich came running back terrified, saying the bearded guy was out front and that he was coming through the gate to the backyard. I saw the creep come in and he asked Rich, "Eh?" Few times. Rich asked who he was and he said Doug. They had been schoolmates but Doug had moved away for a few years and grew his hair long. Rich asked him why he didn't say anything earlier and Doug said he was nervous about approaching Rich because he wasn't sure it was him. So he just stalked him for 2 weeks and Rich was terrified the entire time. My neighbor stands in the backyard and stares through my windows. She also stands outside my apartment door and occasionally follows me into town and into stores. She's a well-known creep in town but nothing can be done really because that's as far as she ever takes it. Also, my state doesn't have great stalking laws so the police can't touch her either. Just mess with her brain. You should get a bunch of really weird costumes and pretend you are having some mystical ceremony every time she's looking through your window. Make sure you have some glow-in-the-dark dollar hit, a lava lamp, a rubber chicken, to sacrifice, and obviously, a sword. I have a similar one. Used to work at a pool where the hot tub was right next to the kiddie pool. Caught a creep jacking it in the hot tub while he watched the swim lessons that were happening. All the kids who had their lessons in that pool were under the age of 7. What the fuck is wrong with people? When I was a kid, I was home alone with my older sister. On either side of us, there were 2 girls that I was friends with. They rang our doorbell and begged to come in because 2 guys in a car was staring at them. We let them in and the car peeled out. We could have prevented a double kidnapping that day. That was probably around 1990. I was serving at a soup kitchen in high school and something shiny caught my eye out the window. I looked and saw a guy holding what looked like a knife and polishing it. About 5 seconds later he lunges out of the bush and stabs a guy minding his own business who was waiting in line for the kitchen to open. No idea what happened to the victim but the whole thing played in slow-mo, it was awful. Looking back it seems obvious what was about to happen, but I was like, 15 at the time? When I worked at a liquor store, I saw all manner of creepy things happen. I think the creepiest was this guy who was obviously high on drugs. He was sitting on a bench, and he could not keep any part of his body still, looked almost like he was having a seizure, but not quite. He gets up and moves away, but his method of locomotion isn't what I would call walking, it was more like vibrating from one area to another. He was like a shapeless amoeba in his movements. It was so bizarre that I couldn't do anything but just stare. Wish I had taken a video. A guy at work used to add a can of black beans into his bowl of chicken noodle soup. I used to think that was weird until I caught him pretending to be a 15-year-old boy on the internet so he could chat with underage girls. It was like a fake live stream, so it really looked like he was a kid, too. Not long after he was fired and arrested.